going on, everybody? Today I want to talk about one of the new cards that's coming out in the next season, so May's season, and that is High Evolutionary. I'm sure you guys have already seen a lot of people cover what the card's going to do. We'll go over that really quickly, but mainly the topic of what I wanted to talk about for today's video is why I think this is the design direction Marvel Snap needs to go in for more cards. You guys have heard me complain, I'm going to say complain because you guys probably view it as complaining, about the power level of tech cards and how decks kind of don't really have an identity because of tech cards. You know, by the time you're done playing or done building your deck, you know, you've got a Shang-Chi in there, you've got a Killmonger in there, you've got a Cosmo in there, you've got Enchantress now with her massive buff. You've got so many different tech cards that a lot of the times your win condition, like let's say you're playing a Darkhawk deck, you're going to play Korg, you're going to play Rockslide, you're going to play Darkhawk, maybe you play Mystique, and then after that, it's going to be what tech cards and what support cards do I want to toss in there? So do I want to throw in a Cosmo in there to protect my Darkhawk from Enchantress? And do I want to throw Shang-Chi in there to kill opposing tall cards? And the tech cards both are teching against your opponent and also protecting against other tech cards, which just makes them wild because they're not just tech cards, they're also defensive cards. I don't want to go into a whole conversation about that. We have an entire video on that. But what happens is a lot of the decks feel like they are just a couple of cards that you can replace. You know, you can take the Darkhawk package, throw it out, put the Sauron package in there, and the rest of the deck is going to be identical. So rather than feeling like a Sauron deck or a Darkhawk deck, you're just like a tech card deck with a choose which win condition you want to play. And, you know, we can debate till the sun goes down, till the cows come home about whether that's good or bad for the game. But personally for me, whether it's good or bad for the game or not, I just don't find that as exciting or as interesting as a lot of these cards should be. So let's take a look at High Evolutionary and see what we are talking about here. So High Evolutionary is a 4/7 with the ability, at the start of the game, unlock the secret ability of all cards with no abilities. And what that does is all of the, I'm going to call them the Patriot cards, all the Patriot cards now have abilities. And I think that is incredible. Because what that means now is all of these cards that used to, there's actually a couple layers to it. So first being, all these cards that used to only ever see play in a Patriot deck now have completely different utility. So that's incredible. And furthermore, it's creating what I'm going to call its own little package. Its package, its identity, that becomes the deck's identity. Like, without playing a High Evolutionary deck, if you're playing Wasp and Misty Knight, you're playing a Patriot deck. But otherwise, these cards have no identity outside of Patriot. Playing High Evolutionary, now all of these cards have their own identity, and there is going to be no mistaking that when you're playing a High Evolutionary deck, you are playing a High Evolutionary deck. It will not feel the same as playing a different deck. It's going to have its own gameplay, and I know it's very difficult to do, but I feel like this was a missed opportunity for the card design in this game as a whole. Now, I know what's probably going to wind up happening is when High Evolutionary releases, it's not going to be play High Evolutionary, play these 7 cards, you know, 8 of the 12 cards are already taken up. What's probably going to wind up happening is High Evolutionary is going to probably only play like 3 of these. It's going to wind up being like a 4 or 5 card package, and then they're going to run their own tech cards as well. But at least living in that same tech card world, where tech cards aren't getting to get, you know, balanced, nerf, changed, living in that tech card world, at least High Evolutionary deck has a unique identity. It does not feel like it's just living, you know, kind of like a parasite on the back of the tech card, doing its own thing. And this is something that I was honestly expecting when I started to play the game. Like, outside of High Evolutionary, I thought, like, you know, Cyclops, I'm not great with, you know, the comic lore and all that stuff, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, Cyclops, Professor X, you know, these are high-ranking members of the X-Men. I thought they'd have, like, you know, when you play an X-Men character to this location, do this. And then another X-Men character would be like, if you have X many X-Men in play, gain this ability. And what having abilities like that would do, yes, on one hand, it can be viewed as kind of lazy card design to force you to play all those cards together in a deck. But what it does is it creates unique identities, which makes each deck feel very different than other ones. So, like, even, I know we have, like, On Reveal, and we have Move, and we have Destroy, and those are kind of, like, higher umbrella archetypes. But even within those archetypes, I feel like we should be having more abilities based on, you know, teams or, you know, space characters, or there's so much you can do and so many different characters and the way they link and the way they interact, and there's so many different things you can do in this game that I feel like it's a really big missed opportunity at the moment, that I'm hoping High Evolutionary is the beginning of them starting to build in that direction. Like, even, you know, hidden interactions or secondary interactions where, like, if, you know, you have Kingpin at a location and you play, you know, Daredevil or Spider-Man, maybe they have some, you know, bonus effect with each other where they can answer each other or interact with each other. Or, you know, some of, like, the street level heroes of, like, Spider-Man and Daredevil have, you know, some synergies that get unlocked. I feel like this is... When I saw High Evolutionary, I was like, yes. I always was kind of describing it as I wish there was more teams in Marvel Snap. And I never really could put a good description on what I wanted. And this is exactly it. I want more stuff like this across the board. Unlock teams, unlock synergies, unlock heroes and villains, unlock all of that stuff. And yes, it will increase, you know, the complexity of the library and the complexity of the interactions. And I know Snap wants to stay as simple as possible, but I feel like if we move in this direction, gameplay will become so much more dynamic and interesting, rather than just, okay, is your big card Darkhawk, or is your big card Magneto, or is your big card, you know, this? Or I'm playing 1-drops. Do you have Killmonger or not? If not, I win. If you do, you win. And I know I'm being a little bit hyperbolic when I say things like that, but I don't like when games just come down to who held their tech card till turn 6, or who had the right tech card at the right time. I'd much rather it be like, oh, this High Evolutionary thing, you know, you curved out nicely with Wasp into Misty Knight, and then your Hulk wound up being a 20-power Hulk, and it was awesome, and this whole deck synergy came together perfectly, and it's exactly what you wanted when you build the deck. That is way more interesting to me. And then maybe if you have to counter specific things as you go, sure, but I'd rather the games be about the decks rather than the supporting cards in the deck. So yeah, I guess that was a really long way of saying I love High Evolutionary. I hope this is not just a one-off, and that Snap as a whole continues to go in this direction, even unlocking abilities or changing abilities of other cards as they go. I think this is a huge opportunity, and I really, really hope that they keep going in that direction. But yeah, that's all for now, guys. I just wanted to talk about that real quick, see what you guys think. Let me know down below in the comment section. I assume a lot of you are excited about High Evolutionary as well, but let me know what you guys think of, I guess, my desires for more teams and synergies like that down below in the comment section. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.